Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Dwayne Wade lands notable new media gig. After winning 2 Olympic medals during his career, Dwayne Wade is now about to call the Olympics. Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press reported Wednesday that the retired Miami Heat legend Wade will be serving as an analyst for NBC during this summer's Olympic Games in Paris. Wade will be working men's basketball broadcasts on-site alongside play-by-play announcer Noah Eagle. The 42-year-old Wade retired from the NBA in 2019 after 16 seasons in the league, which included 3 NBA titles and 13 All-Star appearances. He also had a notable Olympic career, winning bronze with Team USA at the 2004 Athens Games, and then serving as one of the top players on the Redeem team that won gold at the 2008 Beijing Games. For Wade, who was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame last year, he has already had some prominent media exposure ever since retiring. Now he will be stepping in front of the mic for an international audience at the Paris Games, beginning in July. Proposed trade sends Heat $54 million champion for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has given the Miami Heat everything they could have reasonably asked from him since joining the team in 2019. However, there's always the possibility that they may call it quits. Butler will be 35 by the time the 2024-25 season starts, and his next contract extension is coming up. If the Heat decide it's not worth keeping him, Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley proposed the following trade that would send Butler to the Sacramento Kings. Heat receive Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, the number 13 pick in 2024 NBA Draft, 2028 first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick. Kings receive Butler. Buckley then explained why the Heat would accept that deal for Butler. It would take an aggressive offer to pry him out of Miami, but this might qualify, especially if there are fans of Huerter and Mitchell in the Heat front office. This would give the Heat the numbers 13 and 15 picks, meaning they could beef up their youth in a hurry or have the flexibility to chase a star trade or even move up the board. They might still need a pick swap or two to seriously consider this, but that's a concession the Kings could make if their initial offer can't get it done. Barnes provides some appeal of his own. He's not the same caliber of player Butler is, but he helped the Golden State Warriors win a title in 2015. He will enter the second year of a 3-year, $54 million contract. Jimmy Butler wants to stay with Heat, report. Until Butler and the Heat come to an agreement, there will be plenty of rumors surrounding his future in Miami. However, the Miami Herald's Anthony Chang reported that Butler's preference is to stay with the Heat, although his desire may depend on whether the Heat plan to meet his asking price. Butler and his agent Bernie Lee have repeatedly made it clear, publicly and privately, that he wants to spend the rest of his NBA career with the Heat. But choosing not to offer Butler a max extension this offseason could derail those plans, especially with other teams seemingly willing to fulfill his request, Chang wrote. He then outlined what contract Butler wants from the Heat. So essentially, Butler will ask the Heat to replace the 2 years and $101.2 million remaining on his contract, should he exercise the 2025-26 player option, with a 3-year commitment worth $161.7 million. Butler has put his money where his mouth is, but the Heat must think about if paying him is worth it as he approaches the wrong side of 30. Sixers willing to pay max extension to Jimmy Butler, report. The Heat may feel some pressure to lock in Butler while they still can. The Philadelphia Inquirer's Keith Pompey reported that the Philadelphia 76ers are willing to pay Butler what he wants. However, that will only be possible if their other plans fall through. The Sixers view Butler as a fallback option if they are unable to sign Paul George in free agency, Pompey wrote. And, according to sources, the Sixers are prepared to give Butler a maximum salary extension if things align and he forces a trade out of Miami. The Sixers' plan A appears to be Paul George, but if he chooses not to join them, this could be an ongoing storyline. Butler played for the Sixers before he joined the Heat. Along with the 76ers, according to league sources, there are two other teams that have made it known in league circles that they would be willing to trade for Butler and sign him to a max-level contract, Chang wrote. Butler turns 35 on September 14. Despite the outside interest, Butler and his agent Bernie Lee have repeatedly made it clear, publicly and privately, that he wants to spend the rest of his NBA career with the Heat. But choosing not to offer Butler a max extension this offseason could derail those plans, especially with other teams seemingly willing to fulfill his request. 76ers insider Keith Pompey recently reported that Philadelphia would be willing to ink Butler to a max deal if he were to request a trade out of Miami. It's no secret that the 76ers are closely monitoring Jimmy Butler's contract situation with the Miami Heat, Pompey wrote. The Sixers view him as a fallback option if they are unable to sign Paul George in free agency. And, according to sources, the Sixers are prepared to give Butler a maximum salary extension if things align and he forces a trade out of Miami. Philadelphia is fresh off arguably its worst playoff stint since the 2020 NBA playoffs, when the 76ers were swept by the Boston Celtics in the opening round. The 2024 NBA playoffs marked just the second time this decade where the 76ers failed to reach the second round of the playoffs. Philadelphia was eliminated by Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks in 6 games in the first round, despite getting big series from perhaps its two best players in Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. The former averaged 33.0 points, 10.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 1.2 steals and 1.5 blocks per contest for the series, while the latter averaged 29.8 points per game on 47.8% shooting from the field and 40% from three-point range to go along with 5.2 rebounds and 6.8 assists per game. However, the 76ers didn't receive consistent scoring production from their complementary pieces. Tobias Harris, who averaged 17.2 points per game in 70 games played during the 2023-24 regular season, saw his scoring average plummet against the Knicks. He averaged only 9.0 points per contest on 43.1% accuracy from the floor and 33.3% from deep. Plus, in the deciding Game 6, Harris failed to score a single point and missed both of his shot attempts from the field in over 29 minutes of playing time in a game the 76ers lost by just 3 points. Butler's Heat also were unable to advance past the opening round of the 2024 NBA playoffs, as the Celtics, who finished the regular season with a fantastic 64-18 record, the best of any team in the Eastern Conference, sent the team home in 5 games. And are you a fan? What do you think of Jimmy Butler's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.